Coach, what do you like about the first half and the rotations that you used and what they were able to put on the floor tonight?
I'm not sure. I'll have to watch the film.
This was a pretty up-tempo game. How do you kind of evaluate how you guys played in transition?
I thought we were okay. Yeah.
But it was another game where the opponent has taken quite a bit more threes than you guys have. How big of a concern is it? Just the disparity in number of attempts.
That's not my biggest concern. It's the makes. I mean, game one in Abu Dhabi, they took 61. They didn't shoot a good percentage. So if teams want to sit out there and launch, that's not my issue. My issue is making 23. They outscored us by 33 points from the three-point line. We dominated the glass, dominated the paint, but we got our ass kicked from three. And to give up 37 points in that third quarter was embarrassing. So we have a lot of work to do. That's what preseason's for. And tomorrow we'll watch a lot of film. It's a lot to clean up and practice and try to continue to pull it out of our guys, because we only have two more chances, in the preseason as we prepare for opening night.
Where do you see the biggest defensive breakdowns coming from? Is there a specific thing you're seeing?
We can't guard one-on-one. It's just a lot of blow-bys. And if you can't guard one-on-one, that means you're in constant rotations to help. And that just kind of creates that trigger. And you're just chasing your tail at that point. So, did a better job tonight, to the earlier question about transition. That was a real issue in our first two games in large part because of turnovers. So that was a positive tonight. We took better care of the ball, 33 assists, only 14 turnovers. We'll take that number. But I think a lot of their threes were, give the kid Dunn a lot of credit. He shot it well. Bowles shot it well. Monte, Royce O'Neal. So they had a lot of shooters. And that was without Beal, Booker, Durant, Grayson Allen. So they've got a plethora of shooting on their roster. But if you can't sit down and guard one-on-one, you can make it really hard on yourself.
Do you think that's experience, or do you think that's just effort or scheme yet, or getting comfortable with each other in terms of guarding one-on-one?
Oh, it's not scheme, and it's not comfort. You're just guarding the guy in front of you. Maybe you're uncomfortable with who you're guarding. I don't know. I can't speak for that. But one-on-one defense is just taking the challenge of sitting down and guarding and containing. And, they just had us, over and over and over again, just kind of getting into our paint, collapsing our defense, kicking out. Another driving kick, another driving kick. So they played well. And obviously we have a lot to clean up, which you expect, but, against their second and third unit, to give up 67 points in the second half is obviously very disappointing.
Does any of that, in your opinion, have to do with conditioning based on what you've seen with guys, and where do you think the team is collectively in that regard? Yeah,
I don't think we're in great conditioning right now. That's one thing we talked about, as coaches during the game. We look like some guys are just winded and a little tired out there. So that's something that we can try to improve upon. I think the conditioning can only help; it can't hurt.
How do you kind of remedy that in the short window between now and the start of the regular season? Is it trying to push starters for 3 quarters like this more in the other preseason games, or more sort of away from the game kind of stuff?
Probably both. I think some you can do. Like tonight, I ran those guys the whole third quarter, and obviously Jamal didn't play in the second half. But played that starting unit the whole third quarter to try to push their envelope a little bit. And that was probably a little bit hard on some of those guys. And then in practice, I think, we can get up and down more. I think so often as coaches in modern day NBA, the league has gotten so soft, everybody's afraid to condition and run. Well, we have to.
The team is playing at a much higher pace. Russ really pushing the pace, but also with the starters just really pushing the pace. Could that be contributing to just sort of understanding how to get up and down and then really trying to play as fast as possible?
Yeah, definitely could be. Obviously, if you're playing at a pace that maybe you're not accustomed to, it could definitely challenge your system. But we talked about trying to be a better running team this year. And to your point, Ryan, it can't be just Russell Westbrook off the bench. It's got to be everybody. The best running teams are teams that have everybody rebounding and everybody running. Yeah, we'll watch the film. There's, again, a good thing about this is we can take a lot of positives, and we can also look at all the areas that we struggled in and challenge ourselves to be better. Again, we have OKC coming in, then we go to Minnesota, and then get ready for our season opener. And I'm excited for what's ahead of us because so much room to improve.
On the offensive end, looked like the ball found Mike a lot more today, and Mike found the ball a lot more. Is that something that you see being structural, or is that just his conditioning, his effort?
Yeah, I tell you, there was a play in the third quarter, drew up an ATO for him, and his pace in that play was outstanding. I mean, talking about flying off, creating separation, and he knocked down the shot. And obviously, Michael's an elite shooter. And, 8 of 13 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3. Those are very good numbers. But our issue tonight wasn't offense, as we all know. It was, well, I guess you could say we could have made some more threes. That would have helped. But just the defensive disposition wasn't anywhere close to being where it needs to be.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Julian, I know when we talked at practice a week ago, you talked about the speed of everything slowing down a little bit. As preseason has gone by, how do you feel you're adjusting to that specific part of it?
I feel like I'm adjusting real well, especially compared to where I was at finishing up my rookie year. Honestly, the game just feels completely different. I'm able to find my spots a little bit better, so I feel like I'm having good success there.
Are there things that you're approaching differently, reading differently, just in the flow of the offense, or is it just time that's really helped that?
Time for sure, but I mean, it ain't nothing like being on the floor. So I mean, these last 3 preseasons game, I've been able to log close to like 90 minutes. So just being on the floor, I feel like that's the best teacher when it comes to, just slowing down a bit or finding out what works for you. So.
Julian, you talked a lot about how much work you put in this summer and getting healthy and all of that. How rewarding is it for you? I know there's only been a couple preseason games, but to see that work pay off in a game scenario.
Oh, I mean, it feels amazing, especially just knowing that I sacrificed my whole summer, just to being in here and making sure I could put myself in the best position to have success. So obviously it's just the preseason and, you don't get much for that, but I feel like I have good momentum just to carry into the regular season.
Do you feel like there are certain areas of your game that you really focused on this summer that have surprised you in terms of how you've been able to show up?
I don't think anything surprised me per se, but I just feel like, just being able to be ultra aggressive on the defensive end, whether I'm making mistakes or doing the right thing, just being ultra aggressive and trying to, just wreak havoc on that end because, I mean, that's a focus. And coming off the bench, me, Russ, and those guys, you got to bring energy on both ends of the floor. So, just being able to hone in on the defensive end, and I feel like that just carries over to my offensive game.
The Suns took 53s tonight. The Celtics in the first game took 60. What is it like defending that? And just how do you guys continue to lock in on the perimeter defensively?
I mean, it's just the modern NBA. I mean, there's going to be a bunch of tall guys shooting over contests, and I mean, that's just how the game's going. So, I mean, we just got to continue to, trust our brother, trust our next man in rotation, to have their back and, I mean, just fly around. Like I said, just try to wreak havoc. There's going to be mistakes, and every rotation is not going to go the way you want it to. But, just being able to have that energy and the effort, I feel like, that'll just cover up for all the mistakes we make right now.
Just watching you and Russ seem to have really good chemistry so far. What do you like about playing with him?
Oh, I mean, for a guy like me, someone that could put as much pressure on the rim as he does and attract as many eyes as he does, that's a dream come true for me as a guy that likes to, play off the ball and, find open shots that way. I feel like our games mesh real well together, and then I've just been able to, kind of just go under his wing and be on his hip. I've been attached to Russ since he got out here, just trying to ask him as many questions, see what he likes to do so I can make his life easier. And then, he's reciprocating that same energy. I'm trying to make my life easier as well.
There was a stretch to start the fourth quarter where it was you and Christian, I think, were the only kind of guards out there. When you're in those kind of lineups, does your approach change at all, or what you're trying to do change at all?
I mean, obviously, I know I got more ball handling duties, so I feel like, my main focus in a unit like that is making sure that I can initiate the offense, successfully and in a good spot to where we have an opportunity to get a good look every time down. So, that's kind of what my main focus is. And me and CB, obviously, we're gonna, tag team the point guard duties. We're not gonna just leave each other on an island out there. So I feel like we did a pretty good job.
You got on the rim pretty well, especially the two games in Abu Dhabi. Has something shifted for you there? Is there some part of your game that's improved? Do you think you're just like moving and getting to the rim faster, or is it just like lineups you're playing with and stuff like that?
I feel like it's being more aggressive going downhill in general. I feel like it's all the mindset, and I feel like in my rookie year I settled for a lot of threes that I probably could have passed up or could have drove to the basket. So just being able to try and be a more smart and more efficient basketball player, I feel like that's what this team needs from me. But at the same time, staying aggressive because I feel like we need the scoring off the bench too.
You have such a good floater, sorry to cut you off. How do you balance that, I guess, with getting all the way to the rim and getting to the floater?
I mean, I have the utmost confidence in the floater, and everybody else on the team and on the staff has it too. So, I mean, if they're gonna give me a floater, I'll take a floater 10 times out of 10. But I feel like, just getting stronger and being in the weight room all summer, I've been able to get to the basket and finish over guys, in the positions that I probably wouldn't have in my rookie year.
2 more games in the preseason. Just what's one thing that you're looking to sort of improve for yourself, or maybe the team should be looking to improve over the course of the season?
I mean, we just got to win at this point. We've done everything besides win, and I mean, we got a lot to improve on, especially, tonight on defense. We kind of lost ourselves, especially on the 3-point line. So just going into the regular season feeling good about ourselves, I feel like is our main focus.
Going back to your conditioning and strength over the summertime, do you feel like your body is stronger? Like, what was that like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I may not look like Russ in my jersey or anything like that, but I definitely feel a lot stronger and, just more confident in that sense. I feel like I can take bumps or deliver a bump when I need to. Yeah.
Was that something you intentionally focused on this summer, knowing that would be the payoff?
Yeah, I mean, that was the first thing I did before I even got back on the court. Me and Felipe were in the weight room this summer for about a week before I even touched the ball.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Michael, maybe a day you talked about conditioning being an emphasis for you. How are you seeing that manifest? And tonight in particular, how are you seeing the extra conditioning manifesting and getting more shots?
I think it's just trying to push myself. I mean, you can't really get in basketball shape without playing, but tonight was a good, just good to see how I feel out there so I can continue to work on it, keep running up and down the floor. I just felt like I was running the floor pretty well, so I got to just keep staying in that mindset of getting in better shape, after a good game, after a bad game, and I think that it'll take me a long way for sure.
To play your way into basketball shape, do you prefer sort of preseason games with longer runway for starters like this, where you're kind of testing it, running a lot in transition like you guys did for 3 quarters, or is it more?
Nah, I mean, we're at the point now we only have 2 more preseason games, so
Right.
I think we're trying to get pretty much into the right shape for the season because we want to get off to a good start. We know how important getting off to a good start is in this Western Conference.
Coach was talking that there was one play where you're coming off the down screen from Joker in the third quarter, then from Russ, I think. With the pace that you had getting into your 3, just you're going to have to hunt a bunch of threes for the starters this year. I know. Just how important is it to get into rhythm and get those threes up as quick as possible?
Yeah, I just think we got a lot of players that they like to get to the mid-range, they like to get to the rim. So we know in this day and age, teams score a lot of points when they get some threes up. So I don't have my partner in crime, KCP. He was kind of a volume shooter last year. So we don't have any really volume 3-point shooters. I think Jamal, he'll shoot some threes, but he likes to get to the midi. Joker should probably take a couple more a game. But I know, it's going to be up to me and Julian to really be the volume 3-point shooters, I think. So, yeah, I gotta, not force anything, but definitely look for my opportunities to shoot the three.
On that, are the opportunities coming more? I mean, is it new plays being run, same plays you've been running, but more frequently, do you feel?
I mean, I played 2 games, so I can't really tell yet, but we'll see. I know that they're definitely looking to give me some opportunities to shoot some threes, for sure.
Suns got up 50 they got up 53s. I think the Celtics got up 60 in the first preseason game that you guys faced. You guys are seeing that more and more where a lot of teams are getting up a lot of threes against you to try to play the mouth game. Just how do you work through that on the defensive end?
Yeah, it's tough the way we play defense, bringing in the low man, and then teams with a good point guard that can see the floor, that are able to make those cross-court passes. A lot of times we're late on our contests, so the way we play defense, we got to give up something. So I think we try to take away the paint, but that's giving up threes. So we just got to make that extra effort to get out there and contest, and try to limit their 3-point attempts as much as we can. But yeah, the way we play defense, I think it's predicated on trying to eliminate some paint points.
Are there any ways, Mike, that you think you can really help yourself in getting more 3-point looks?
Like I said, being in good shape. I think just running the floor, being active, running to spots and being ready to shoot. I think just the better conditioning you are, just the more opportunities will find you because you're just always moving. So that's a big goal for me this year.
Do you think that those will come in transition then, just based on what you're saying, that's an area?
Transition, me getting the rebound and pushing and them being late to pick up. Coach running different plays for me. And, just taking the opportunities when they come. I don't know how many threes a game I shot last year. I definitely don't want to shoot all threes, but with the makeup we have for our starting lineup, I know we need to get up some threes. Some of that will be on me.
Mike, what changed for you guys defensively in the third quarter? I mean, the first 2 quarters, you guys were pretty solid defensively, then gave up 37 in the third.
I don't really know. I think they made a ton of shots. We didn't really have the energy coming out of halftime. It's really just on us being ready to go coming out of halftime, which has been kind of an issue with this group for the past few years. So we got to figure that out earlier and do it sooner rather than later, figuring out how to get warm after halftime and come out with the right intensity.
Because you guys seem to be playing really fast. How do you think Russ has affected that, or is that just a thing that you guys in the starting unit?
No, Russ has been amazing, man. All camp. I mean, just the dynamic he brings to the team, how fast he is, how he can just draw a crowd and find people is really special. So, I mean, part of it's Russ, part of it is, we're in preseason, we're just trying to get in shape right now so we can be ready to go game 1.
One more. Cool, thank you, Mike.
Appreciate y'all.
Thanks, everybody.